So you're looking for a dog trainer in the Avon, Connecticut area. It can feel like a pretty big search, right? Well, in the next few minutes, we'll walk through a clear, practical guide to help you find the perfect professional for you and your dog. You know, life in Avon is really meant to be enjoyed outside with your dog, but actually enjoying a peaceful walk on the trail or a relaxing afternoon in the park, that really comes down to having a confident, well-behaved companion. And that's exactly where good training comes into play. First up, we'll talk about what an Avon dog's life really looks like. Then we'll figure out what your dog specifically needs, go over how to pick the right trainer, touch on local costs, and finally, we'll talk about where you can put all those new skills to good use. Okay, let's start with an Avon dog's life. Before you even start looking for a trainer, it's a really good idea to think about the real-world situations your dog is in every single day. This is what makes sure the training is actually useful. I mean, think about it. A typical day could be a walk down Route 44 with all that traffic and activity. You might run into a neighbor and just want your dog to sit politely for a minute. Or maybe you're walking past the library or the busy fields at Buckingham Park. Training is what helps your dog navigate all these moments calmly and with confidence. So, keeping those daily scenarios in mind, our next step is to get specific. Before you can find the right trainer, you really need to know exactly what you and your dog need help with. So the big question is, what are your main goals? Are you starting from square one with a new puppy? Or are you trying to solve a specific issue like maybe barking or pulling on the leash? Training usually falls into one of two main buckets. You've got basic obedience, which is all about those essential skills for good manners. Then there's behavior modification, which is more specialized for tackling tougher challenges like fear or anxiety. Just figuring out which category you're in is a huge first step.
All right, Section 3, how to choose a trainer. Now we're going to walk through a really straightforward process for finding a professional who's a great fit for both you and your dog.
But before we get to the steps, it's really helpful to understand the philosophy behind modern training. The humane and effective standard today is positive reinforcement. It's all about rewarding the behavior you want to see, which is just a fantastic way to build a strong, trusting relationship with your dog. We can break the whole search down into 3 simple steps. First, you'll look for certifications. Second, you'll ask some key questions. And third, you'll schedule a consultation. If you follow these steps, you can be confident you're making a well-informed choice. So what kind of certifications are we talking about? Well, you'll often see acronyms like CPDTKA or KPA-CTP. These tell you that a trainer has really invested in their education. And for more complex issues, something like a CBCCKA signals even more advanced expertise. And here are the kinds of questions that will get you the information you really need. You want to understand their methods, how they'll tailor a plan to your life here in Avon, and how they'll track success. Asking if they'll collaborate with your vet is also a really good idea, especially if you're dealing with behavioral issues. Moving on to Section 4, local costs and considerations. Let's get into the practical side of things, what you can expect to invest, and some of the local rules that are good to have on your radar. Just to give you a starting point, a single private lesson in and around Avon usually falls somewhere in this range. This is a good number to keep in mind as a baseline when you start looking at different training options. Okay, so here's a fuller picture of the costs. And you can see they vary a lot depending on the format. Group classes for puppies or basic obedience are generally on the lower end. Then you have private packages and the more intensive board and train programs, which are a bigger investment. This should help you line up your budget with your training goals. Being a responsible dog owner in Avon also means knowing the local rules. Your dog has to be on a leash in public spaces, they need to be licensed with the town, and they must have a current rabies vaccination. It's also good to know that excessive barking can fall under local noise ordinances, another great reason why training is so helpful. And finally, let's talk about putting all those skills into practice. This is the really fun part, getting out there and enjoying the results of all the hard work you and your dog have put in together. And Avon has some absolutely fantastic places for this. The big open spaces at Fisher Meadows are perfect for practicing things like recall. The Farmington River Trail offers miles of paths to really nail that loose leash walking. And the trails at Talcott Mountain are great for teaching your dog to stay calm and polite around other people. You know, at the end of the day, this is about so much more than just commands. It's about building a bond with your dog so they can be a true companion in your life. I wish you the very best on your training journey.
The real reward is having a dog who can safely and happily join you anywhere in Avon, whether you're at home, visiting friends, or just enjoying a beautiful day out in town.